Hello, Internet. So today it's kind of going to be one of those rambling days because, yet again, today I posted something about on a lesbian page about being a SOFFA. And yet again, somebody asked me, well, how does that work? And that really shouldn't be the first question. Like, it works the same way as it works with every other couple, regardless of gender or sexual orientation, race, creed, color, whatever. It works the same way. Two people fell in love with each other and started a relationship. I had someone tell me that I wasn't really a lesbian, that I identified, or that, yeah, I should identify as a pansexual, which is, I guess, someone who gender doesn't factor into their attraction. It's just whoever, right? They love who they love, which is great and admirable. But to be completely honest, I like girls. Not to say I'm a gold star, because I'm not. But my attraction is to females. And my partner identified as a female when we got together. I am not gonna fall in love with someone as deeply as I love my partner and then be like, oh, wait, you're a trans man? Just kidding. That's fucked up. And if you have the ability to do that, then you should have never professed your love to begin with. So as to how that works, it works exactly the fucking same. And I really, really, really wish that people would stop, that would stop being the first question. How do you handle it? That's an acceptable question. Like, how do you feel about that? That's an acceptable question. How does that work? Not an acceptable question. Like, every time someone asks me about that, like, it's a physical, like, I have to physically be like, don't yell at them. Don't yell, be nice, because I realize that, like most of my friends who are, like, straight, I'm the only lesbian they know. So they base their views on homosexuality, gay marriage, gay adoption, all of those things, and lesbian lifestyle off me. I am not really an accurate representation. I don't really feel that any one person is an accurate representation. But I realize that 98% of people's belief structure is anecdotal. They're like, oh, well, I heard this story this one time about this guy who did this thing to this other guy, and it was horrible, and therefore I don't like gay marriage. Like, it's the most ridiculous thing ever. But because I also realize that amongst my lesbian friends, I'm probably the only SOFA they know. So they judge all trans couples, you know, whether they both be trans or one's trans or whatever, they base their beliefs and their reasoning and their opinions on the entire community based on me. And again, I'm not an accurate representation. No one person is an accurate representation. And it's bullshit to think that's the case. However, again, most people's belief structure and their opinions on things are anecdotal. So I'm it for them. And if I get really hostile, then they're like, oh, well, that bitch is just crazy, and all people who are attracted to trans people must be crazy, and this and that and the other. And I mean, it's horrific. So I try to be as polite as possible. But I have been asked that question literally by every single person who knows about my partner's transition. And I'm not quiet about it. And neither is he. Why should he be? We spent our entire childhood in the closet. Why would we crawl back in it? Like, that's absurd. The point being is that if you are asked that question, it is perfectly natural to feel indignant about it, because I do. It pisses me off. Like, legit, it makes me so mad that I turn into this little ball of fury, and it is everything that I can do to not explode and to be nice and be polite. Thankfully, I work in a professional environment, despite my very unprofessional attire. And so I'm used to people asking like absurdly rude questions and feeling that that's okay because they're in a higher station than I am, or they're a C title or whatever. But that's basically what it is. It's asking an obscenely rude question. Because they feel like that's okay for some reason. And I'm here to tell you that that's not okay. It's just like asking two women who are in a relationship together how they have sex. Like, women have sex. Yes, we do. We have sex. But I am not about to disclose the details of my sex life to a random guy who asked me about it. That's absurd. And it's just the same. And I know that there are lots of lesbians out there who get asked that question, mostly by straight men who don't know you. You know, maybe they just met you, or even family members. Like, when my family asks me, it's a little different. Like, I don't get so angry because I realize that they're just different generation, different time, and they really are curious. Not because they, want to put me in a position where I have to answer this question that really doesn't have an answer. Anyway, the long and short of it is how does that work is not an appropriate question. And so if you're presented with that question, I recommend trying to restrain the rage and answer it in a polite and professional manner, because if you're short, clipped, I guess would probably be the better word, it's a little bit off-putting. So